Today we are going to be making some banana bread, and this is a great way to use some sourdough starter if you have some, but it's not necessary. But what is this is whole wheat. Start by preheating your oven to 350 degrees and just line some pans with parchment and butter them. Into our bowl goes butter and some white sugar and some molasses, and then we're going to add some baking soda. Mine is a little clumpy, so I like to sift it to make sure that it's evenly distributed. Then we add our salt and cinnamon. And we're also going to add some vanilla extract. So we're going to set all these ingredients into our mixer bowl, and we're going to let it mix in the mixer for several minutes until it's really light and fluffy and everything is really well combined. Now, while that is mixing, we're going to turn our attention to our bananas. Now, this looks like a lot of bananas, but it's because this is a double recipe that I'm showing you. I will list ingredients for single recipe underneath the video. But we mash them up really well, and you want to make sure that you're using pretty overly ripe bananas, because that's where your banana flavor is really going to come in strong. Once the bananas are well mashed, we're going to add some honey. And to our honey, we're also going to add some eggs, because we're going to mix all this together. These will be our wet ingredients. So we're going to just combine them all together in the bowl. And while we're doing this, the mixer is doing its thing and mixing up all the butter and the other ingredients really well. Now here's the part where you can, if you want to, add some sourdough starter. This is a great way to use up discard. And it's going to all mix in really well. I just use a fork to combine it all, and it mixes pretty quickly together. And you just want to make sure everything's beaten well and there's no like egg yolk that hasn't been mixed in. Now we're going to turn our attention back to the mixer, and we are going to scrape down the sides. And then we're going to mix it again a little more, because we want to really kind of fluff up the butter and whip it well. While that's whipping, I'm going to measure out my whole wheat flour. And again, this recipe is 100% whole wheat that we're adding to it. Now we're adding our wet ingredients to the butter mixture. And we're going to put that back on the mixer, and we're going to mix it for a few minutes just to get everything really well distributed and combined. And then we're going to scrape it down and combine it one more time. We just want to make sure that everything is evenly distributed. Once we're happy with how well everything is mixed together, it'll be time to stir in our flour. And I like to stir it in by hand instead of having the mixer do it, because A, it's easy to mix in, and B, it helps keep the bread very moist and soft. And if you want, this is the place where you would also add your optional chopped walnuts. But this version is, I'm showing you without walnuts. So we just, again, it took a minute or two to combine all the flour in. And now we're going to pour it into our prepared pan. And we just want to evenly distribute it in both pans. And again, there will be ingredients for the single recipe below. So just double everything if you're going to make 2. I'm going to end up making 4 because I had a lot of old bananas. So there, the 2 I'm putting in the back, I actually put chopped walnuts in, and then the 2 in the front are the ones you just saw me prepare. We're going to bake this at 350. Oh, I forgot to mention, we're going to let them sit for about 15 minutes before we bake them. Then they'll go in the oven, and they bake for an hour to an hour and 15 minutes until a toothpick comes out clean and they are cooked all the way through. Then they'll rest in the pans for about 10 minutes before we just gently run a knife around the edges. Although if you buttered it really well, the loaf will pop right out. But the paper on the bottom really just helps to make sure that they come out without sticking. And there you have it. Some healthy banana bread that your family will hopefully enjoy. Happy baking!